Like we want to tap in.
Listen, it's happening.
Right, well, that's it.
It is happening.
Well, then let the people know we're here.
Hello, my loves. Hello, my loves. Hello, my loves. Happy New Year.
New Year's of happiness.
And welcome to 2019. Welcome to the first MoNique and Sidney's open relationship. I can't stop smiling.
But then don't stop it.
I'm not going to stop it, Daddy. Hey, everybody. Hey, Daddy.
Hey, Mama.
How you doing?
Super fantastic.
So what we talking about today?
Tell them.
Do you value yourself?
Do you?
Do you value yourself?
And if you don't, how you gonna start valuing yourself in the new year?
That's how you feeling?
In the new year.
Okay.
Spell Y-A-R. Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
R.
All right, then. So, Daddy, how did we come up with this one?
Won't you tell them?
I want you to tell them, baby. How did we come up with this one?
Well, as y'all know, Sister MoNique got a residency in Las Vegas, y'all. Let's give it up.
Yay!
Such a chocolate.
Yay!
So beautiful, don't y'all agree? And in the midst of it, she's been doing quite a few interviews. And part of the interviews that came up were in reference to, it was such a small part, though they made it bigger than it actually was. Was in reference to Sister Tiffany Haddish having a little struggle in one of her performances one night when she was out and about doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
They asked MoNique in reference to it, and you said,
It was just a moment. One moment. That was it. And don't judge yourself. Keep it moving. Keep going.
and what happens is oftentimes when you get questions like that, the individuals that are interviewing you, and I don't want to make it seem like it's all, but many of them are messy, and they want you to say something sloppy about your sister or your brother in the game, which that's not what she does.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how we operate. So that played into part of the value that we have to have for ourselves and the value that we have to have for one another, because oftentimes we so quick to throw people away and ourselves away in the process.
And you know, y'all, here lately, I've been doing some interviews, and they've been with some sisters. We're going to take the call, Daddy.
It's up to you.
Hey, this is MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, MoNique, it's Lisa Durden from North New Jersey.
Hey, baby.
Long time no talk to, girl. Hey, Sidney.
How you doing?
Happy New Year, baby doll.
New Year's of happiness.
Talk to us, Mama.
MoNique, girl, I told you I wrote those two articles about two girls that blew up, that was published in Our Time Press about the Netflix issue.
Yes.
And I told that you are the most decorated comedian, period. I did my research. Decorated means awards, not just nominations, what you've won. And I found out, girl, that you not only have the residency in Vegas, you're the first black woman comedian to get it. Drop the mic, girl. Ow!
That's how we do
Oh,
it.
my damn. Oh, my damn.
You know what, though, Lisa? I'm going to tell you something. Why this call is so beautiful, and it makes me excited because we're uplifting each other. And we're talking about today, do you know your value?
Yes.
And when you hear two sisters excited for each other,
Yes.
that says a lot about how we feel about ourselves.
Yes.
When we can say, girl, go do that thing, and you saying, girl, go do that thing, and we're
Yes.
cheerleading each other on, it speaks volumes, I believe, into
Yes.
what we feel about ourselves individually.
Absolutely.
And I have to add, people try to kick your husband's back in, talking about, oh, why you let your husband be your manager. Now I have to say, full disclosure, I'm that chick that would say that to a female, because some men ain't right for the female to be their manager.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Williams, but don't make a comment. That was just Lisa Durden's opinion. Hood Hess should not have been her manager. Mary Kay Blige's husband, Kendu Isaac, should not have been her manager. Jill Scott's husband, I know y'all can't talk on that, but that's me talking. Her first husband should not have been her manager, because I checked them out first. They were not qualified.
Well, I
Drop the
appreciate
mic
that.
on that one, Sidney.
All I'm gonna say is, ever so humbly, they say you supposed to take a win like you take a loss, and
Okay.
I'm gonna take it like this. I appreciate your comment.
Well, thank you.
But you know what,
Monique?
Lisa, I
Well,
want to.
go ahead.
But I'm glad we're having this conversation because oftentimes we're taught not to be a team.
Exactly.
Okay? So I want to say this. I don't know the dynamic with Mary and her husband. I don't know the dynamic with Jill and her husband. I don't know those dynamics,
right.
but it's unfair, in my humble opinion, for us to say
Right.
they're not qualified because there is no managerial school that you go to. There is no agent school that you go to. But I'm going to tell you why, in my humble opinion, I believe it happens oftentimes, and we say, oh, the husband ain't qualified, or you know how girls talk, girl, that nigga don't know what he doing. I watched a video earlier of Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King, and it's called the OG Chronicles. And I listened.
And it makes you say OG, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, give it to me. I like it.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to these two women giving advice about relationships and about your man. And when I hear a woman say, after being with a man for 25 years, no, he doesn't have my passcode. That's my personal space.
Right.
And I don't have his either. And then you hear sister say, I went to 5 counselors when I was married.
But you got to finish that, baby,
Okay.
with Gail.
Okay.
But then Gail says, well, I've got your passcode
Right. Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
Oprah.
What?
Okay. So
Ooh.
the point I'm trying to make is it's set up for us not to be teammates. Because when you hear this woman that we some of us so willingly run behind, and you hear a sister named Kim Whitley say, that's my God. But you hear this woman saying, no, my boyfriend don't have my passcode. So again, the point I'm trying to make is we get so caught up in your man couldn't possibly know what he's doing. Well, tell me about the degrees or the colleges that these other managers went to that are having our lives in the palm of their hands.
No, let me just say this. Here's what I mean by that with family. So I wasn't just saying that because of husband, because I'm going bigger than husband. It's like your brother or your sister or your father. If you have a business, like your MoNique, you are a brand and that's your business. Like my sister. My sister is great as an executive assistant, as an executive secretary. She's good. If I were to blow up as a journalist and producer, which I'm doing now, I would not make my sister my manager. Not because she's not smart enough, but because A, it's not her interest, number one, and B, that's not her skill set, number two. I'm just saying because it's your husband. I would say that if it's your sister, I would say that if it's your brother, I would say that if it's your best friend. I have a best friend, MoNique. My girlfriend, MoNique, I love her dearly. But if I hit the lottery tomorrow and blew up, I'm not making her my manager. She supports me, but she doesn't have the skill set nor the interest. So that's my issue. Sidney had the skill set. I'm not saying he had a degree in that. He had the skill set. So it's not just about your husband. It's about anybody in your camp who could be a relative or a husband or a spouse or a lover who just isn't qualified for that particular job. I'll give you the example. When, what's his name? Too Legit to Quit. I keep forgetting his name.
Hammer. Right. Girl, I'm like we on Jeopardy. Hammer.
You know, the kid can. When Hammer got big, he gave a whole lot of folks in his camp jobs, and he, for good reason, he tried to bring folks up. Some of those folks who were from the hood, from his cycle, from his family, were not in the right job. It doesn't mean you can't give them something. That's what I'm trying to say.
And what you're saying, you're being more specific. Whereas what MoNique was speaking in reference to wasn't really applicable to you. It was to those that just assume because I am her husband, there's no way that I could do it. And what most people don't know is agents, they get their start in a mailroom. And then from a mailroom, they become assistants taking phone calls for the people who are agents. And many agents never knew how to close a deal. What they may have is a Rolodex and people that they know, but they don't know how to sell because typically when we go into a room, MoNique is selling it and or I, because they sit back, they may have a word or two, or they're overusing hyperbolically and things of that nature, which is their little catchphrase, but they've never actually sat in a seminar and learned how to overcome objections and isolate them and have actual closes that are in store to handle those objections, which when I was at the age of 19, 20 years old, I've had that opportunities. Now I'm 51 and I've been in sales since I was 19. So the easiest product, if you will, and not to speak about MoNique as if she's as an inanimate object, but the easiest product that I've had to sell was MoNique because she really sells herself. It's just allowing, being in a position where you run into the stupidity or the blindness of individuals because they want to undervalue black women in this industry.
And I knew, because I've been watching you guys for a long time, you guys are my drug, my addiction. So you said that many times, Sidney, because I didn't know a whole lot about your background before your podcast. I just knew, hey, that's MoNique's husband. I didn't know a whole lot about your background. Once I began watching your podcast, you had said that many times. That's why, like you said, I'm being specific, but I do understand what MoNique was saying too. But in particular, because I found out those things about you since you were 19 doing this kind of thing in business, that's why I made my statement. But I understand what MoNique is saying too, because it still should be all in the family. Because even if I had a brand in a business, I would employ my sister, my best friend, and my family, and put them where they might desire to be or whatever skill set. But yours in particular, you had the skill set selling, because that's what really it is. You're selling her brand, but she's also a partner in that selling that brand as well. So to your point, that's why I felt the way about you. So long before I wrote that article, I knew your background. So when I wrote that two-part article that was published in Our Time Press, I talked about that aspect of it, that no, he's not just her husband. No, Sidney's not just managing MoNique because he's married to MoNique. Sidney's a salesperson, and you can sell widgets, boxes, juice, basketballs, hot dogs.
You know what, Lisa?
The skills are the same.
I'm going to tell you why I love you, baby, and why we do this show. Because any other show, they'd have cut your ass off. They'd have cut your ass off and said, that's enough. But however, I love the fact that we can have these conversations, but we love you, Mama. Keep on listening. Tell a friend and tell another friend. Mwah.
We love you.
Love you, baby. See, but that's what we appreciate.
We appreciate it.
That's what we appreciate. And we can read y'all comments, and when y'all saying on to the next, move to the next caller, I understand it. We understand it until it's your turn. Until it's your turn. And then when you have something to say, don't you want someone to listen to what you have to say? And the beauty about this show is, baby, we on our time.
And if you listen, she was dropping jewels because that's the sign of a smart business person when they are able to determine who will fit into this particular position. You don't want to put a round peg into a square hole, if you will. So, kudos to her.
Hey, you on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Yes, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. How you doing?
Absolutely wonderful. Is this Grandpa Jenkins?
It's the man from the South, the living ancestor.
Hi, baby.
How you doing, MoNique?
Absolutely wonderful.
How you doing, sir?
I'm blessed and happy. I know what this is the topic. Look, you said the value yourself. Do I value my ancestors? I just heard the other one on the phone for me alone, but I love it because you expressed that.
Grandpa Jenkins, your line is doing something real strange. We can barely hear you,
You're
baby.
a little muffled.
Can you hear me now, y'all?
There we go.
Is that better?
Yes, sir.
All right, now look, I was listening to the other lady on the phone with us, and
Yes,
Come on
sir.
now.
Yeah. Listen, that's your wife, that's your woman, that's your two-piece with a sign.
Come on
That's
now.
your woman.
Come on.
You gotta do protect your woman. Now, let me talk about you.
That's
To
right.
lose is to gain. Lose friends to gain the good wife like you done on your side. Do you hear me, son?
Come on now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. The topic is do you value? Yes, I value myself, but at a point in time, I did not. And the reason why, because I thought I wasn't shit. Excuse my language. I thought I wasn't about to be shit. I wasn't trying to be shit. And it's just the point is, I didn't know how much, how good I was. And so I looked around like, damn, I'm fat as well. I said, no, I said, damn, I look good. You know, listen, to make yourself look good and to value yourself, you better start by waking up in the morning and say, you know what, damn, shit, I look good.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. We love you, Grandpa Jenkins.
Thank you now.
Thank you, man.
All right, my baby. Damn, I look good.
Come on.
And that's how you get it started. You know, I want to address something, if I may, because I see some of the comments and they're saying, MoNique, how did you get to Oprah and Gail? I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have the sister saying, no, this one shouldn't have been their manager. No, this one shouldn't have been their manager. No, this one shouldn't have been their manager. And then you watch the show with these women saying, no, my boyfriend don't have my passcode. Another question was, what happens if this woman wanted to confront her guy because she found out they both left at the same time in the morning to go to work, but she found out he actually didn't have a job. And she wanted to know, should she confront him? What should she do? Their advice was, bye, boy. That's the worst kind. And they laughed about it. See, the reason why I bring them up is because for so long, we as a community, we look to the person with the bag, unfortunately. If you got the money, you must have the answers.
Come on.
But when you listen to a woman saying, bye, boy, and you listen to a woman saying, no, my boyfriend don't have the passcode to my account. Now, we're not talking about a cat you just start dating because you said, I agree. My boyfriend don't have my passcode either. My girl does, but this is somebody you dating, sweet baby. I'm talking about a 25, 30-year relationship. So the subliminal message is, for me, I can only speak for me as a woman. Listen, you don't trust no man. Listen, you the boss. You running it. Listen, you make the decisions. There's no team being spoke about.
And what we are speaking in reference to when we're talking about do you value yourself, the way in which you feed yourself dictates how much you love you. If you keep eating food that's not healthy, you're speaking to how much you value yourself. If you keep taking food that's spiritual, that's intellectual, that is not any good for you, then that speaks to the level of value that you have for yourself. So when you hear an individual, and again, I want people to over understand what we are approaching or attacking or addressing is not Oprah Winfrey. It's not Gayle King. It's not the person. It is what they are saying. This is what we're addressing. When you have an individual that says that I had 5 therapists that I saw when I was married. This was Gayle King. I saw 5 therapists when I was married. And Oprah Winfrey, she's the best that I ever had, but she's not married. You then have to say, well, listen, at what point does someone instruct you on how to be married and they've never been married?
Come on, y'all. We're talking about it.
Do you value yourself? What are you feeding you?
Hey, you're on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, MoNique? This is Kato, and I'm calling from Alabama.
Hey, baby.
Hey.
Hey, and I'm calling again to let you know, me and my wife would love to have you and Sid on Joint Airs Magazine radio show.
Man, you got to send us the stuff so we can get on the show.
MoNique, how do we get in touch? How can we get in touch with you all? Because we'll come to you all to be on the show, and we would also love to feature in Joint Airs Magazine as well.
Well, what's information that we can reach out to you guys now?
Did you say shoot it to him on the Instagram? Was that or DM
I did,
or-
Daddy.
I did hit MoNique up on her Instagram page. I don't know if that was a real page, but I did send the information to her Instagram page. But Sidney, I can give you my personal number right now, and you can talk to my wife. And they can. I want you all in the magazine. We want you all on the show. We want to do the whole nine.
Well, if you give us your number right now, you're giving it to everybody. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Wait a minute. We're going to pick up the line 1 second, and then we're going to get the number.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
You want to just come pick it up, sweetness?
Hey, right here.
Okay, I'm going to take it up. You got them?
I have them.
See what I'm saying, y'all? This the kind of technology shit we roll with.
Uh-oh.
Talk on it.
But back to the
Come on, Daddy. Get
matter
back
at
to
hand.
it.
So it's one of those things where when we're having these conversations, many people, they get taken aback because they can't believe that you're talking about Oprah Winfrey. We're not talking about Oprah Winfrey. We're talking about what Oprah Winfrey is saying. And we have to love ourselves as a community to not tear down Tiffany Haddish because she had a bad night. And not call Oprah Winfrey out, but call her up and say, with all of what you know and with all of what you have, tell me about what you know about being in love in a relationship where you've been married for years to your best friend. Because they say best friends make the best relationships. So her best friend is Gail. Maybe they need to have an incredible relationship because you always see them coming back together. And I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
That's what they
okay.
say.
So at the end of the day, it's like when you have two OGs, Oprah and Gail, one who was married that saw 5 therapists but thinks the best therapist she's ever had was someone who has never been married. We just say, what are you feeding yourself? Are you buying into that
Yes.
or not?
And that's what the show has to do with. Do you value yourself? Because when we start paying close attention, and when y'all say, and I'm going to tell you why, when y'all say, MoNique, why do you speak about that? For me, if I know something's not right, it would kill me not to speak on it. And when we get caught up in somebody being a billionaire, and if they say it, it must be true. It makes me say, how much value do you have in you that you're not even willing to investigate what you're buying into? And because we oftentimes get caught up in the fame, we get caught up in the fortune, we don't get caught up in the character of the person. And we just simply, whatever they say, we buy into. And that's why we're in some of the predicaments we're in right now as a country, as a world, as a community, because we don't ask questions till the shit is too late to ask questions.
Come on.
When you have people saying, y'all, let's pay attention. Let's pay attention to who's feeding our soul. Let's pay attention until your gut is so goddamn sick. Now you're saying, oh shit, had I just listened? Had I just paid attention? But because oftentimes we're so devalued, especially as a black woman, we're so on the bottom of the totem pole, we don't ask no questions, we're just accepting of it. So for this baby or these babies that feel like, oh, MoNique, why are you always speaking about Oprah Winfrey? I'm not always speaking about Oprah Winfrey. But we need to have the conversations that our community needs to have so that we don't keep running after
The bag.
Come on, let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
I am calling from Dodgeburg, Tennessee.
From where, baby?
Dodgeburg, Tennessee.
Talk to us.
What is the topic today?
The topic today, my baby, is do you value yourself?
Yes, I do. It was some point in my life where I didn't value myself because I was worried about what other people had to say about me and how they thought I looked and my color because of my dark skin and my complexion. I didn't value myself because I thought I wasn't worth what I was worth at the time because, you what he would say to you can affect how you feel about yourself, and it kind of gets to you, and you kind of understand that you're not able to love yourself the way you want to love yourself, and I wasn't able to value myself. And I have a daughter that's 1, and I'm basically a teen mom. And I watch your channel a lot, and I kind of look up to you because I've seen where you came from with your weight loss things, and I've been on the challenge to do my weight loss. So I look up to you, whatever, and what you do. And I want my child to see me and see how I value myself so that when she get older, she can value herself and she can find somebody that'll value her the way that I value myself.
Can I say something to you, baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Just like you say you look up to me, it's just like I look up to you. Because any sister saying, MoNique, I'm trying to make it better, that motivates me. So we in it together. We're in it together, baby, and keep going. And we proud of you, little sister.
Exactly, because you could be doing anything else right now, but you're listening to something to feed yourself, which speaks to the magnitude of how much you value you. So everything is a step at a time. There's an old saying, persistence breaks down resistance. And if you keep persisting, you're going to overcome whatever it is that you need. But create your plan, keep moving forward, and everything happens for a reason.
We love you, baby.
We love you too. Bye.
Bye, honey. That's why we do this show.
That's why we do it. Because everybody's not 40 plus that's listening to it.
Come on.
You got folks that's 18 to 70, 80 listening to it, and everyone in between. And we appreciate that.
The call-in number is 470-282-1802. Hey, you're on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
This is your niece.
Come on now.
This is Israel. Hi.
Hey, baby.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year to you too, Auntie Robin. I love you.
Listen, how about I can't stop smiling? It's like talk about family. Hey, baby.
We really tried hard to get to Las Vegas, but we're not giving up.
I'm right there, baby. Whenever you make it there.
Huh?
Whenever y'all make it there, I'm right there.
All right. I just wanted to call in on several points. First of all, I want to say that I miss you guys. Hey, Steven, I'm on the phone. And I wanted to say that I learned how to value myself. I did not value myself at all growing up. It wasn't until I was with Peaches. So in reality, I'm 54 years old. And for the first 30 years of my life, I did not value anything about me. I always thought I was ugly. And when the kids used to bully me in school, I would come home and tell my mother, and she would say, well, you look like me, and I'm ugly too, so just ignore it. So there was no support from home. Daddy was barely ever there. So it wasn't like, and I'm the last out of 8. But the rest of them were living life, There's a big 13-year gap between the older ones and myself and my sister, Nikki. Nikki's light-skinned, so she got over it. Everyone loved her, and everything was great. I'm dark-skinned. I had big lips. They just had a ball with me, teasing me, punching me. It was a mess. So I grew up not liking me, not looking in the mirror, ever. Going to see how I looked. I would look up to, I don't know if you can understand this, I would look in the mirror up to my nose. Wow. And I would not let my eyes see each other. They would not meet in the mirror. And, I wouldn't do that. I didn't want to look at myself at all. So it became to putting on makeup. I did great putting on makeup because I always averted my eyes away from myself. It was because of Peaches giving me the stamina and the wherewithal to even stand on my own 2 feet and decide that I am worthy, that I feel that I'm worthy.
Come
on. When we did our wedding vows at our wedding ceremony on our gay cruise a couple of years ago, one of the things that I said was, you see me, And because of you, I'm able to be me. Because there was no me before her. It was a conglomerate of a body that men looked at, women, looked at, and I didn't look at anybody. I didn't care. I couldn't care less. I bought myself a diamond ring to pretend that I was married when I was a teenager because I didn't want anyone to talk to me. If a guy said, "Yo, baby, I'm married,"
Wow.
I was quick to say it because I did not like me. Don't talk to me. I know I'm not worthy. It took Peaches years. I mean, years. We've been together 24 years. This year will make 25.
Come on.
And it took me all of this time to finally see myself in the mirror and literally, physically smile at myself because I never did. I would not smile at me. I would go, "Yeah, that's good. I'm done." And then I would walk out of the bathroom or away from the vanity mirror and just keep on going about my business. Still feeling that I was ugly. In the back of my head, if you were on the train sitting in front of me and you whispered something to your friend, in my mind, you were talking about me being ugly.
And you don't understand how impactful what it is that you're saying is, because there are other people out there who feel the same way, because when was black, when was brown in the society that we live in, when was it taught to be beautiful until we said those words out of our mouths that black is beautiful? See, we had to first say it out of our mouths because in the society that we live in, people believe that World War I happened in the early 1900s. But if you ask the indigenous people of this land, they'll say it was when Christopher Columbus came here and decimated 60 million indigenous people and whittled them down to 800,000. So when you come in with a new regime, it's not going to look, and they're not going to talk about, "Boy, you black people sure are some good looking folks. Wow." You know what? Why are we oppressing them in the first place? Because it's not about your color. It was about the agenda. It didn't become about people's color until the 1640s with a guy by the name of Governor Berkeley out of Jamestown, Virginia, after the Bacon Rebellion, when poor blacks and poor whites got together and fought, and he felt that that would be the appropriate time to create this thing called privileges for the whites who were poor, so that there would never ever be a union between poor blacks and poor whites again. Hence, as we move forward in this time, we know about this thing called white privilege. But when we look deeper at white privilege, it doesn't bring them closer, the white people, to the elites. They are poor people who have the privilege of aesthetically being white. So when we look at their counterparts, which are black people, us, we have to find the wherewithal to understand the reason why we are looked at as not being attractive is not because we're not attractive. It is to allow us to tear one another down. It is easier for us to not receive respect from one another, from other people. And the fact that you had someone that saw the beauty in you allowed you to see the beauty in yourself. And you communicating that, just what you said today, allows you to help others see the beauty in themselves. We appreciate you for calling in, my sister.
We love you, baby.
Thank you, guys. I love y'all too, and we'll talk soon.
Hot Peaches.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all, we're talking about it. Do you value yourself? And when you start hearing sisters say, "For a long time I didn't." And that's generational, y'all. That's shit that we pour into each other and don't understand the effects that it has for the ones coming. Hey, you're on with Monique. You're on with Monique and Sidney. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, baby, who's this and where you calling from?
It's James. I'm calling from Buffalo.
Talk to us, baby.
Buffalo, New York.
Talk to us, Dave.
Yes, hello?
We right here, baby.
Yeah, I'm just chiming in. I've been trying to get through for the last couple of weeks. And due to work and y'all schedule, I haven't been getting through. I just wanted to let y'all know, especially you, Monique, that I support everything that y'all doing. and I'm proud of both of y'all. So you keep going in with your nice things you've been through with the last thing, with the Precious whole deal and the whole thing and the being blackballed, the soul situation. I just wanted to let you know you got a supporter here in Buffalo, New York.
We thank you so much, my sweet
We
baby.
appreciate you.
Love you,
And
brother.
Hello?
Uh-huh.
And also, MoNique, listen, you definitely is set on this earth to do the thing that you're doing. I support you, all right?
All right, baby. If you get a chance, come on over to Vegas.
No, absolutely. We're coming. I'm going to set up the whole bus thing. We're coming.
All right, sweetness. Love you, baby. You know what, Daddy? I've got to share this story.
Share it.
About the brother that I saw in Vegas in the lobby. So I just want to tell y'all, I'm grateful that I don't have fans because y'all really feel like my family. So we're leaving the showroom, going back to the hotel. This brother comes over to me and he says, Mo, can I talk to you for a second? I got to tell you something. So I was like, okay, baby. And he was like, I really don't want to, crowd the space. I'm like, brother, it's no problem at all. Talk to me. He said, Mo, we had tickets to come to the show, Mo. We had them. We got dressed and everything, Mo. He said, but we puffed up on some weed and we got stuck, Mo. We didn't make it. And that baby, but he had a look in his eyes that was so genuine, like, I had to tell you what happened. And y'all saying, what does that have to do? Do you value yourself? He valued himself so much that he had to get that shit off his heart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is.
There it is. I was going to share it.
And you shared it. Is that coming up right, baby?
Yes, Daddy, it is. It's just turned on the side, so I can't read it that way.
Okay.
You see?
Earlier, when we were talking about the bag, there was someone named Lindell Moore that said, y'all better pay attention when y'all following people with the bag. He said, because that's how Trump got elected.
Come on.
And that's a very valid point. Now, you got people out here that work hard for a living and gotta keep on working hard for a living, but they ain't got paid for their work.
Come on.
So how are they living?
Come on, y'all. Now, this goes back to, for me, just when you said that, Daddy, do you value yourself? Sometimes kindness seems to be a bad word to people, just to be kind. And right now, people are really going through it, y'all. So if you're at the airport, if you are in those places where you know them babies ain't taking home a paycheck, a smile might help. Just a smile, just to say, hey, sister, hey, brother, I wish you a great day. It may make a difference.
That's it.
That's you valuing you and you valuing them. Because when you give off goodness, what it do?
It comes right back to you.
That's all it do. So do you value yourself? Let's talk about it. Hey, you on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Las Vegas, Nevada, MoNique.
Hey, baby.
Hi, honey.
I love you, mama.
I'm telling you, I just chimed in, so I don't know what's really going on, but I see it says, do you value yourself? And I love myself, honey, and the world has taught me that you got to love yourself and value yourself in order to go where you want to go in this lifetime. And watching you as a sister, honey, from every movie and every comedy that you played in, like, I fucking love you, excuse my language, okay? And
we welcome your language.
You bomb. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different, okay? You stay 100. You stay solid, honey, like you always have. And you gonna tell it all, whether they fuck with you or don't. Because the real, we mess with you the long way, okay? And I'm a young thing, MoNique, and you can't tell me nothing about you, okay?
I love you, baby.
I love you guys.
We love you back.
Thank you, sis. I hope I get a chance to see you at the show.
I'm definitely gonna try to get some tickets, girl. Come high and everything.
Come on now. We love you, baby.
We love you too, honey, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, mama.
All right, bye, Daddy.
Take it.
That's right, bitch. You're the only one that can do it.
All right, baby.
All right. See, I don't want to get off topic, okay?
But you will. Go ahead,
But I
baby.
will.
Go ahead.
When I was doing press in Vegas, I had to say thank you to the residents of Las Vegas because I'm in their home.
That's right.
And oftentimes we forget about the residents because you worried about the world. But when that sister just called right there and said, Mo, I'm from Las Vegas. And if I can get some tickets, baby, I do not know your name. I don't know your name. But when I see you that night at the show, I promise you, I'm going to be able to say, you was the baby that called on the phone. Come on, y'all. We're talking about it today. Do you value yourself? And you know what was so sweet, too? The sister that said there was a time I didn't, but I had a daughter. I have a daughter. And that can change your mind. Because you're saying, do I want my baby to grow up in the same things or feel in the same way? Hey, you're on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Mama, this is Mama Bird.
Hey, Mama Berg, how you doing?
Girl, I'm doing good. I'm a mixed blood Osage from the Osage Reservation in Oklahoma, transplanted out here in New Mexico. And I want to tell you, I really dig this topic you got going on right now. I work in the field of recovery and in treatment. And I just left a position where I was working with 15 recently incarcerated women of all races. And the first thing that was allowed when you came into my home was, number one, you left all of those names that you acquired in jail and those terms outside. This was a brand new start. These are beautiful women.
Yes.
And you know, they may have a mistake. That's all right. You pick yourself up. You dust yourself off.
Yes.
You don't have to prove to anybody but yourself now and your children that you've learned from that mistake. You got to work hard. You got to get that degree, and that means your high school diploma, maybe vocational degree, maybe even a college degree. Whatever it is you're wanting to do, you find out what it is that you can do to make yourself a success and to show your kids, your parents, your siblings, whoever it is, yourself, you overcame this. So I'm really digging what you're saying today, and I really wish my former girls could hear this. Because it just backs up what I would tell them. Because trust me, this ain't a job you take to make money. This is a calling from God himself.
Come on,
and I'm a
baby.
recovering alcoholic and addict. I'm 50 years old, soon to be 51. Left so I can go ahead and finish my degree to carry this on further and start my own program with these women. So I just want to thank you again, especially being a woman of color. Man, I love that. Because there are so few women of color that are actually being heard and truly being heard in a positive way. And I'm digging that. I am so digging that with you. So, sister, I just wanted to call and tell you thank you and for backing up what it is that I tell these women myself.
We love you, sister.
Thank you for the call.
Oh, sister, I love you too. And for any of y'all doubting yourselves, man, God don't make junk.
Come
But whatever your higher power is, you are not junk. You matter. You're important. Your existence is real, and it has a purpose and a meaning.
There it is.
Sister, that's all the time I wanted to take with you. But I just wanted to thank you again for giving me that time.
We love you, baby.
Take it.
You know, that's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
That's why we do it. Because we don't have all the answers. We don't proclaim to be the light.
The light.
We don't proclaim to be the perfect ones. We talk to y'all from what we've walked through. And when you get a sister that call up and say, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm 50 years old, but I didn't give up and I didn't give in. You goddamn right I value me. And then you have some sisters that got lots and lots and lots and lots of money. But when they look in the mirror, the sister looking back don't particularly care for what they're saying. We talking about it.
We talking about
Do you value yourself? Do you value yourself? Hey, you on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, auntie and uncle, this is Shaquille calling. How you doing?
Hey, sweet baby.
How you doing?
How you doing? I just wanted to call and, let you guys know again that, everybody is standing with you and loving you and smiling, and everybody's grateful just for your presence, just for your energy, just for your love and compassion. I want to say learning how to love myself is still a journey. I'm still on this journey. But once that I affirm all the things that I know that is true about me and all the things that I know that I want to see in my life, it becomes more easier to meditate on that daily. Just on love, just loving on my family, loving on you guys, loving on everybody. So I just, a few months ago, Auntie, I wrote in and I was explaining to you I was going through a breakup and it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And emotionally, I was not right. I would wake up sad and go to bed sad, and it just wasn't, I wasn't loving myself and I wasn't pouring into myself. But the day that I wrote you and you spent 5 minutes just pouring into me and just explaining that there's something better coming for me, and you don't know me, but you just instilling that in me, I pulled on that, and I listened to that, I watched that all the time. I look at all your interviews and everything that you have to say because I know it's positive and I know it's something I could take to the kids that I want, and I could bring all the information, all the love, all the compassion, all the patience, everything we learned on this Periscope, the podcast, everything. I could just bring it right to my family and most importantly, bring it and instill it into myself. So I just wanted to thank you for just pouring out into your people because we need it. And I'm 25 right now. But as a 25-year-old, I'm just so grateful that I'm being equipped with these tools about life, about love, about not winning in the micro scheme of things, but winning with being rich in spirit. And that's more important than anything I've ever learned. So just thank you.
We love you, baby.
All right.
Thank you for calling in.
All right, my sweetness. We hugging you too. Can you see us?
Yes, I can see y'all.
Squeeze me, daddy. Squeeze me. That's for the baby.
I love y'all so much.
We love you.
Love you, baby. Go ahead, daddy, because I feel like he was going to say something.
I was just going to say that the key to what he was saying was loving himself first.
Yes.
And you don't have to see anything take place around you to start loving yourself. That's something that is immediate because you will know who you are before anyone else does. And since you already have a leg up on the world to identify exactly who you are, then just be who you are. And if there's some things about you and who you are that need to be refined, that are not where you want them to be, it's all right to make that adjustment because we should be constantly making adjustments in who we are when we see that what we are doing is not what we want to do. Oftentimes you hear people say, what I said is not what I mean. When we are able to live and express ourselves in a way in which we mean, so that we say exactly what we mean and we're not misspeaking and we live in that way, then we're reaching that higher self so that you're no longer worried about how someone else views you as much as you're comfortable with how you're viewing yourself. And you must be your most difficult critic. You must be, because the world is designed to shoot you down to reduce the competition. But when we understand that the real competition is not your neighbor, your real competition is you. And if you can overcome the challenges that sometimes we're born into, because like you said, sometimes in your show, before you leave the house, you've already been beaten down. So you for the prime taking once you walk outside your doors and meet the world.
Come on, y'all. We're talking about it. Do you value yourself? Hey, you're on with MoNique and Sidney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hi, this is Shay, and I'm calling from Georgia.
Hey, Shayna, talk to us, baby.
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
I'm not gonna be long, but I just wanted to say that I've learned to definitely value myself through not being a perfect human, but definitely learning from my mistakes and making lots of them, but owning them. And through my ownership, I have beaten myself up, but I have also changed. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of times when it comes to, seeing value in yourself, you have to forgive yourself. And you have to have a pure understanding that you're not going to do everything the way, ways. However, we're human in this, and we're not going to always walk, a straight path. But I think the object of the game is to, definitely understand that you're going to make the mistakes, and most importantly, own the mistakes, because you can't change what you will not own.
Come on.
So the first step into, definitely, seeing value in yourself is understanding that, owning it, and then putting forth the proper change. Because I was a mother at a young age, 19. I wasn't the best mom, but then I became a mother at the age of 26. I'm married now. I had 2 other children. However, I wasn't the same mother at 26 as I was at 19. So, my son had some things to say about me, and it hurt. It hurt, but I needed him to understand that I'm not the same person, and I own everything, because 19, 26, 27, I mean, it's a world difference. And so I've learned a lot about myself going through being a younger mom to a more mature mother, and forgiving myself and being a better mom.
Yes.
And because I've actually changed, and I'm a new mother, I love myself for that, and I love myself for just understanding that it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
This is a beautiful call to actually end the show on, because of the honesty. And there are so many women that beat themselves up for that very fact that there was a time they may not have been the best mom. But once they knew better, they did better. But still carry that guilt around. So to hear you say you've got to be able to forgive yourself. To say there was a time that I did walk that journey. Well, now I'm in this one, and not carry that guilt, because that guilt will allow you not to value yourself. Now you're doing stuff to try to fix it when you can't change yesterday.
As long as you're taking that ownership for what it was that you did, and made amends with those individuals that you may have made those mistakes to, that is the solution to allowing you to live guilt-free, because there's nobody that's walked the face of the earth that doesn't know what it is to make a mistake.
We love you, sis.
I'm sorry?
I said we love you, baby.
I love you too, and thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my love. Have an awesome day, baby.
Take care.
Y'all, we did it. We did it. That was the first show back. Do you value yourself? And again, we hope y'all get as much out of it that we get. I'm sorry, Daddy. Did y'all get as much out of it that we get? And keep on listening.
Keep on listening.
Tell a friend, tell another friend, and tell 10 more friends. And like my daddy always says,